Greetings everybody, my name is Tommy the Keyblade Master and welcome to my channel. With The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess HD released last week, I decided to start doing a few blog entries. As I go through the game, I'll just tell you what I think about it, how it looks on this new Wii U version, and if Twilight Princess is still good. I like this HD version, even though I did enjoy the motion controls of the original Wii version. I'm someone who actually thought that actually improved the game. I'm probably one of the few people who do, but I did enjoy it. But one of the things I do like about this new HD version is I get a normal controller, and I'm able to sit closer to the TV screen than I could with the original Wii version. And in case you're wondering why I would want to sit so close to the TV, I do have an eye condition called keratoconus. Basically, it means while the rest of you get to enjoy a nice, strong, round cornea, mine's kind of weak and bulging out in different directions. And it means light gets reflected into my eyes differently, and sometimes things like text on screen can get incredibly blurry. So I like to sit close to whatever I'm reading or watching. And anyways, let's take a look at this game. I remember when Twilight Princess first came out. It was kind of like this anti-Wind Waker in a lot of ways. After Ocarina of Time, people were expecting the next generation Zelda game to look more like Lord of the Rings. What we got was Studio Ghibli. Not that that was a bad thing. I did enjoy Wind Waker's visuals, even though it came with a largely overly cartoony look, and it had plenty of other problems which I need to get to in my review of that game in a few weeks. But it was not a bad game. But when Twilight Princess was announced, Nintendo was going to do a far more realistic art style. Fan demand was high, and so was the anticipation. After being delayed twice on the GameCube, it came out for the Nintendo Wii as a launch title in 2006, and that's when I got it to experience the motion controls and some of the new types of gameplay. And I remember enjoying playing through it for the most part, but it was not perfect. Let's see how I feel about this game after not playing it for about 8 years. Alright, let's start off with this game's introduction. It makes Kingdom Hearts 2 first 3 hours look swift and painless in comparison. How bad is it? Well, Kingdom Hearts 2 may have been 3 hours long, but it was nothing but cutscenes, and skipping them only really boiled it down to 40 minutes. Here you have to do everything, and it walks you through everything, every basic control. You have to herd sheep in order to learn to control Epona. You have to fish just so you can unlock the shop. You'll have to learn to control an eagle just because. And it gets boring just being stuck in this village for so long. The worst part is collecting the rupees needed to buy a slingshot in order to advance into the battle tutorials. None of the side activities like fishing or doing the eagle thing really nets you any extra rubies. You just have to go around on the ground repeatedly through the glass and just pick up green rubies until you have enough to buy that freaking slingshot. Yeah, Ocarina of Time may have started this way, but it was a lot quicker. It only took me about 2 or 3 minutes to collect the rupees needed for the shield in that game. This one took me about 20, and it was annoying. Once you do the battle tutorial, things finally start to pick up. Link is charged with taking a sword his village has created to Hyrule Castle as a gift. However, before he can depart, his girlfriend and the village kids are captured. He gives chase only to be dragged into the Twilight Realm, where he gets turned into a wolf and thrown into a dungeon. He meets a strange imp named Midna who explains what's going on, and then she takes him to meet Zelda, who explains that Hyrule was attacked by some mysterious invaders from another realm. And because they lost and she surrendered, that realm is now slowly eating Hyrule. Its people are more like ghosts now, and evil creatures cover the land. After meeting Zelda, Link is whisked back to his village, but can't take human form anymore. He has to find items while avoiding the humans who thinks he's one of the creatures out to eat everyone. Doing a little stealth gets you a sword and shield, and it's back to the Twilight Realm, so you can go and collect bugs using Link's wolf senses. After you kill all these bugs with your wolf senses and everything, you finally lift the veil of twilight that's covering the woods. Link finally turns back into a human, and he gets his trademark green tunic and hat. It only took us 3 hours to do that. But the good news is that it's just a quick jaunt to get us to the first temple. This is actually a really cool dungeon. You have to save monkeys in order to get past pits and to solve puzzles. There's plenty of these plants that you have to drop bombs in order to pass and get treasure chests. And the item that you get in this dungeon is this really cool boirng that allows you to create tornadoes. After you finally beat this dungeon, you're finally able to get to Hyrule Field after 5 hours. And we're finally free to explore, or so we think. We only find out here that we're just merely on probation. This is one of the most surreal parts of the game, don't get me wrong. Just the fact that you only have freed this tiny chunk of Hyrule Field and the rest of it's still covered in this veil of twilight is a very surreal experience. And just to look around it in HD, I took several minutes just kind of standing around in the small field just looking around. But it only really takes a few minutes to jog into the next twilight-filled area, and you get transformed back into that wolf. Anyways, after you get sucked in and back into the wolf, your next objective is to get to Kakariko Village, where some of the town kids have managed to escape to. However, they are under monster attacks, and if you get attacked by twilight monsters, you become one of them, I guess. Doesn't really delve into too much beyond that conversation. Of course, the kids are waiting for Link to show up to save the day, and you gotta go out and collect some more bugs, this time with slightly harder puzzles as you have to go in and out of houses, and even explore some of Death Mountain. But if you manage to get all these bugs, you're back into Link. And this is pretty much where I ended. You do return to human form, and then you have to go back to your hometown in order to retrieve some iron boots so you can negotiate with the Gorons by sumo wrestlings. You return to Kakariko Village only to have this happen. Yeah, these village kids sure do like to get themselves kidnapped. It happens again, and once again it's Link running off to the rescue. This is actually a really cool battle. Basically, you're on horseback, and the idea is you have to catch up with the lead moblin who has the kid and knock him around a few times so you can kind of trigger this joust on top of a bridge that happens afterwards. And this is kind of a cool scene. Once I figured out how to exactly do a spinning blade attack on this game, because it's a little different in the Wii and it does change the strategy, you knock him off the horse and then Link poses, and this is pretty much where I really did end my gameplay session for the day. But I should talk about the posing. One of the things that Nintendo definitely wanted was to show that this Link's a bit more of a badass than, say, Toon Link. So he poses constantly. Every time he beats a dungeon, he does kind of this, puts his sword in a hilt type pose. And same thing here, he poses like a superhero. And my thought is, well, that's fine and dandy, Link, but while you were doing that, this happened. Wow! Alright, good luck explaining that one to Mom and Dad there, Link. But anyways, if you want to know my feelings about this game so far, it's actually pretty fun once it gets started, and that's the problem. Getting started on this game is a major pain, as it just sticks you in the forest for far too long. While Wind Waker does its fair share of handholding before it finally lets you go after a few dungeons, you're at least moving from place to place. You start off in Link's hometown, but you're only there for half an hour before you're off to the Forsaken Fortress, which is there for another half hour or so before you go to the Windfall Island, where you spend another half hour and then an hour or two in a dungeon, learn some sailing, and another hour or two in a dungeon, and then you're, for the most part, finally free. But you're always moving between these places. Here it's just, get me out of this frickin' forest! because it takes so dang long to complete these tutorial sections, and a lot of them are kind of tedious. But once you get out onto the field, this game really does become an epic adventure. It just takes its sweet time getting there. Anyways, this is Tommy the Keyblade Master. I'm signing out right now. If you wish, you can click subscribe. I plan on doing some more of these blogs, just telling you my experiences as I rediscover this game in HD. Most of them probably won't be this scripted. They'll probably be just on the fly. But if you'd like to see them, feel free to click that subscribe button. I would love to have you as part of my community. Anyways, this is Tommy the Keyblade Master wishing you a good day.